Which celebrity is a complete butthole? I have a waiter friend who took care of Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley once. Apparently MJ told him that the privilege of waiting on them was his tip. Barkley slipped him $100 on the way out and apologized. Sir Charles with another clutch rebound. When I first moved to Los Angeles 15 years ago, I got work doing special event and party catering via a friend of mine. I've done everything from bat mitzvahs to the Oscars. Along the way I've met or interacted with hundreds of celebrities. As someone once said, you can truly judge a person's personality based on how they treat the help. For the most part, most big-time A-list types are very cordial and tipped well. Some were high maintenance but generally okay. People whose careers were over or on their way down were very nice and humble. The worst ones, by far, were the C or D list types. The ones that were on their way up were especially bad. The only example that springs to mind was a party I was bartending that Tom Arnold was attending. He treated me and the rest of the staff like absolute crap and kept looking to the other party goers like, hey, look at me being an butthole to the little people. I've heard from friends still in the business that he's gotten much better, but that could because he has no real career anymore. I've been asked before who was the best person I met or the best experience. There's only one. It was a rainy night during the Oscars. I was outside having a smoke break when Salma Hayek came out looking for her car without an umbrella. Seeing I had one, I offered to escort her to her car. She accepted and we chatted for a little bit as she held on tightly to my arm. I thought I was going to die. I think I'd be close to dying with Salma Hayek holding tightly onto my arm. Nice. Michael Bay. When I lived in LA, every person I knew in the entertainment industry, everyone, had at least one unique story about what an unnecessarily ridiculous, raging butthole Michael Bay was for absolutely no good reason. Knew a guy on the Transformers crew who would bring a different shirt to set just in case Bay fired him. William Shatner. I've dealt with him on film projects, at comic conventions and on a sponsorship deal, and he's universally a dong to everyone. Making volunteers cry, telling fans to pose a certain way or he won't take their picture, refusing to say even a word to people who paid $100 for an autograph. Just this weekend he was wicked drunk at a convention in San Jose and humiliated a bunch of volunteers. He needs help. All of the other original Star Trek cast members are great. Leonard Nimoy before he died, George Takei, Walter Koenig, Nichelle Nichols, friendly and amazing people. Chevy Chase almost shoved me out of the way of the urinal so he could use it. When I called him out on it, his response was, "Who are you?" presumably trying to use star power to get what he wanted. You should have used that opportunity to pee all over him. My sister-in-law worked on Capitol Hill and she has a lot of stories about politicians. Those who are actually nice and those who suck are surprising sometimes. Celebrities come up to the Hill a lot to pitch for whatever charities or issues they support. She said Angelina Jolie was incredibly kind, while Catherine Zeta-Jones yelled at her for being a liar when she asked for an autograph for her little sister and refused to give it to her. She accused my sil of wanting an autograph for herself. So once upon a time I wrote in a similar thread, not butthole but something along the lines of what band musician was terrible live, and I made a post about Avril Lavigne. She seemed like she didn't want to be there the whole time, played a short set and pieced. Few months later it came out that she had Lyme disease. Went from her being a bored performer who didn't bother to put in an effort on stage to a dedicated performer who showed up even though she had Lyme disease. Just something to think about when reading stuff like this. Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton. I was 6 years old and asked him for an autograph. He said sure. $50. I said I don't have $50. He said then you don't have my autograph. I was 6. Hello celebrities browsing this thread hoping not to find themselves. Well, this is awkward. Come watch Fuller House everyone. Andy Dong. Belligerent mother groped my then girlfriend when we ran into him in a bar in Hollywood. Pretty much non-stop insults and obnoxious behavior. He made racist remarks to the bouncer, who should have kicked him out but treated him like a prince. Come on Andy, please behave. The more attention he got, the more butthole he became. Frick that guy. Exactly how I'd imagine Andy Dong to act. A friend of mine used to work security at one of the big casinos on the Strip in Vegas. Woody Harrelson got him fired. I think Woody has since sobered up. but he used to be a huge drunk. He was staying in one of high-rise rooms of the casino, and from the balcony and into the lobby, he threw a cake. My friend went to the room and Woody was totally wasted and totally naked with a bunch of H in his room. My friend told him he needed to get his act together and not throw things into the hotel lobby from up on high. Woody tried to attack him again. He is completely naked and drunkenly shouting and making an absolute scene. Woody complained to my friend's boss that he was harassing him and got my friend fired. To this day, my friend, who has worked security his whole life, said it was one of the worst encounters he has ever had with anyone, let alone a celebrity, and was the only job he's ever gotten the axe. All because Woody Harrelson was an absolute T, but famous. Goes either way depending on who you were in the situation. My dad met Christopher Walken in a bar, but it wasn't under pleasant circumstances. Basically, Walken had been doing something in the area. My dad has no clue what, and he walked into the bar around 8 or 9 p.m. My dad wasn't that old, maybe in his 30s tops, so this was about 20 years ago or so. As soon as Walken sits down, people at the bar start mobbing him for autographs, grabbing crappy stained napkins, bearing skin, whatever it'd take to get his autograph. He just stood up angrily, shouted something akin to "frick off, all of you, leave me the frick alone," and then pointed to my dad and said, "But give that guy a drink on me. He's the only one who didn't give a crap," or something to that effect. My dad doesn't believe in being starstruck, so he kinda just went, "Neat, Christopher Walken," and continued watching TV. Russell Crowe and Mel Gibson would be so happy reading this thread. I was at Martin Crowe's funeral last week because my mother was best friends with his ex-wife. Russell was bawling his eyes out the entire time. Don't really think it was the right time to ask for a photo though. William Shatner. I worked with him for a while behind stage at a con. Guy was a dong to pretty much everyone, to the point that even other actors wouldn't go near him. Not sure if it was just a bad day, but he rubbed pretty much everyone the wrong way. I worked security for his autograph line at a con. I couldn't get past the sense of exhaustion he gave off. Like he didn't so much want to be in butthole as he just wanted to go take a nap. The kid who wrote the Aragorn books is notoriously hard to deal with. I remember working an event we were at and we literally had to run through the bookstore and hide every potentially sexual magazine, book, etc. because apparently they couldn't keep him away from them. Surprised no one has mentioned Lance Armstrong. He came to NYC a couple years back for business or something and reached out to the coach of my triathlon team to see if he could swim with us during his visit. Awesome, right? Wrong. We were all pumped for the swim that day, but he ended up being a huge dong and a diva in the pool. Additionally, he divorced his wife that had seen him through cancer chemotherapy and whom he had kids with so that he could date other celebrities. On another note, I have read all the stories about how Michael Phelps is a dong, but he also swam with us a while back and he was very pleasant and polite. I lived in the same town as Justin Bieber, Stratford, Ontario. There are only 30,000 people in the town and I'm only a year younger than him, so we had a ton of mutual friends. Played basketball together and I frequently saw him at social gatherings. He was possibly the most arrogant little crap I've ever met. He would brutally make fun of people, disrespect adults for no reason, and one of my best friends told me that at a hockey game he pee in some people's cups for no reason. The pee in cups is probably the worst individual thing I've heard of him doing. It was mainly just that he was a constant douche. He was always mean to people and extremely self-centered. I saw him once savagely make fun of a nice younger girl because her teeth were crooked. It was pretty hard to watch, tbh. Fun fact, I used to work with a guy that babysat Bieber as a kid, and he told me a story about how one time a kid punched him in the face around the same time. I've posted this before in another thread. For me, it was definitely Will Smith. Bad Boys 2 was filmed in Miami. One of the scenes involves the Metro Mover, a mass transit rail system that operates in downtown. My father owned a large plot of empty land near a key Metro Mover stop. He agreed to let them film and use his land as a base of operations. All he asked for in return was some passes for me and a friend to visit a closed set. I guess I was like 13 years old at the time, so myself, a friend of mine, and my father all go to the closed set on the specified day. We get in just fine. The person taking us around was awesome. We got the whole tour, etc. Then, our guide asked us if we wanted to meet the stars. We go up to the Metro Mover station and see the filming taking place. Both Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are there. After the scene was over, our guide approaches Will Smith and tries to tell him who we are and how nice of our family it was to give the land for free for the filming. Will Smith proceeds to ignore her and then blows past myself and my friend and leaves without even acknowledging us. My friend and I were crushed. Martin Lawrence saw all of this happen and immediately ran over to us. He apologized for Will Smith's actions and then talked to us for a good while. He was an incredibly nice person, but I was so disappointed in the way Will Smith treated us. He knew we were huge fans, that my family was doing their production a big favor, and didn't give a single frick. I'll give a good celebrity encounter to balance this one out. I lived in the same building as Pharrell in Miami. I saw him on a regular basis. We took the same elevator up to our units. Not only is he one of the nicest celebrities I've ever met, he is also one of the nicest people. He is incredibly soft-spoken and humble, and his kid is adorable and well-mannered. His bodyguard, Ben, is also really cool. My friend who also lives in the building accidentally took the service elevator and ended up in the hall behind his unit. Ben was there and ended up giving my friend a whole tour of Pharrell's apartment. Pharrell also gave him a signed set of shoes. Every interaction I've had with both of them has been great. I couldn't have asked for better neighbors. I think Martin Lawrence balanced that story, but that Pharrell one is awesome as well. I've heard Gene Simmons is a meanie. His reality show confirmed it. Morrissey, never meet your heroes. Seconded. Always loved his music and took the negative press as just crap slinging for a story. Finally met him, guy is absolutely vile. Guy Fieri, my friend lives in LA and said Fieri rolls around in that convertible with a bunch of guys and they're all complete buttholes to everyone they meet. I've heard his kid is a little prick as well. Yes, the kind of book you can judge by the flame sleeve cover. My aunt was once an aspiring actress and was classmates with a bunch of now famous actors at Juilliard. She told me a story about Kevin Spacey, and this time he invited these two homeless men out for dinner at a really nice upscale restaurant. They went, and they had a really nice meal. After they ate, Kevin Spacey invited the two of them up to his hotel room, and they refused, saying they were grateful for the meal but didn't want anything else. He told them that was fine, and that he needed to use the bathroom. He then ditched them there to pay the bill. Apparently he told this story to a bunch of people in his year, thinking it was a funny way he pranked a couple homeless guys. It really disappointed me when she told me this, because it was right after Usual Suspects and I thought he was fantastic in it. Kevin Spacey has been rumored to be in the closet for years, and I've heard lots of stories about him that involve rent boys and Hollywood sex parties. He's supposedly a manipulative douchebag that offers to help people get ahead in the entertainment business for sexual favors. I feel like this story lines up pretty well with that narrative. Madonna, the showing up 4 hours late for her concerts is not a new story. A friend of mine worked for a fancy hotel near a major concert venue. When Madonna was coming to town, they had to repaint the entire floor she would be staying on for 2 days, or she threatened to cancel the concert and blame the hotel. Apparently their paint color choice had bad juju or some crap. You have been visited by the good sleep Yoda. You will be blessed with cozy, restful sleeps, but only if you comment sleep tight Yoda. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.